Well, how you been, bro?
What's up, bro? How are you?
Good, man. You?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate you, man.
For sure, bro. It's an honor.
What's good with you? What you been doing lately?
Oh man, just been staying busy, man. Just trying to stay under my pop's wing and stay consistent and try to max out my day to the fullest that I could.
What a win to be on there, right?
Yeah.
What a win, man. I've been seeing you for years now, like using the airbrush, painting a little bit, and I mean, from the outside, to me, that looks way harder than probably tack a wall. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta like on clothes, and you do it on your own clothes, which is crazy too. So like, when I see you doing it, you gotta hold like the pump with one side and like the machine with the other one. I mean, just from the outside, it looks like it's pretty damn hard to do, but you have been getting really good at it.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Like just learning how to airbrush, I think that was just like the big journey for me. I think being able to just have paint come out of it, and
Right.
just see a result. And I think that was the biggest like accomplishment to me, just to get it to work.
I
for
mean,
sure.
Your pop's paint, just going one of the biggest one, like the ice cream truck. He did that everything
Everything
with a
airbrush.
liter. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say, like if you use like a kind of like a pencil or a marker, you have a better line, kind of. But with that thing put in to make it look reality, it's crazy. I mean, it looks like a wrap, and it's not a wrap.
For sure. No, yeah, I would say like the closest memory I had as a kid is he had a bunch of candy surrounding that ice cream truck. And I remember like seeing the candy, and I would picking up one of the candies, and I look up and I see all these murals. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? That's crazy.
Like to you growing up in the classic car collection world, like the graffiti art, the airbrush, tattooing, what for you was your favorite thing, like on your personality and perspective?
I would say primarily the cars and the tattoos. As a youngster, that was like the main thing that I really gravitated towards. And I didn't really understand it at a young age. I just knew like that was what I was used to. And then eventually, as I got older and I started to pick up an airbrush and I started to pick up a graffiti can, I started to see how hard it was. And then I started to see, oh man, that's what it takes to get that result.
To the final product.
For sure.
What was your first experience with painting? Like when, like I'm pretty sure you started pretty early, but on the fresh memories, when was like the first time you went like, how I do this?
Yeah, you know what? I would say like as a youngster, just helping my pops like fill in a little area with the can. He'd just be like, son, here, fill this little area in. And I didn't really know can control. I didn't know how to like kind of work it, and then eventually I just started filling it in, and then I started getting a little confidence and started getting that energy flowing through me.
That's sick. And in terms of tattooing, have you tattooed or you're not
I'm
tattooing?
practicing right now. I'm in training, so every time he's tattooing, I'm always right there just trying to soak up as much as I could.
That's cool.
Yes, sir.
I mean, from my experience getting my whole back done with your dad, it's like he's like my favorite thing about it, because of pain wise, he never come back to a spot. I love that. Once he passed that section, he's not coming back, because most guys, they do a piece here, a piece there, but then they come back, and then when they come back, that hurts.
Right.
And I think I have the crown for the bitches one, because every time I get into tattoo, I'm complaining, I'm moving, I'm like, dude, stop. How more long? But when he goes, he doesn't come back. That's what I appreciate. But I always tell him, like, if you would be a fighter, this would be the fastest hand in the game, because it's quick.
Bro, it's such a trip, man, and just being able to learn those little things and those little techniques, and seeing other artists do their thing as well, and it's just inspiring to me as a young man, just to see the
Same
growth,
here.
for
I
sure.
mean, for me being in the other side, like looking up to them, like even since when I was living in Ecuador, my first tattoo artist was a guy that was in LA. He was in prison, and I mean some gun related stuff, and all his style is like Chicano style. Like my first few tattoos are black and gray and stuff, and this guy will always talk about the LA culture, and like these guys are the best. And when I was in Ecuador, I was like, you're in Ecuador, I have never left the country, so I don't know what it looks like or what it is. And he will know, like he knows all the people I know now, which you know too, he was talking to me when I was like 18, 19, and I was like, maybe one day I get to meet them and how life works, and eventually I'm like getting tattooed by them or getting photographed by them or just being around them is like, it's almost like my own people push me to be in this
For
circle,
sure.
which is amazing. And I mean, you can see it on the same cars I collect. I mean, I'm just
For
adding
sure.
to the collection to exactly the same thing, just following the line.
For sure, and I think that's a beautiful thing, bro, that you gravitate towards that and that you represent family, you represent passion, and I can see that when you fight, and I can see that when you walk and the way you talk. So, as a young man, that's real inspiring, and as long as, like, with other people as well, you know, so especially with other artists and
I,
other people that are into cars, I see the passion that they have
I
towards
mean,
it.
it's the sickest thing when you're around, like, the graffiti artists, the guys that paint, the guys that collect cars, and it's like a whole, like it's like a different country inside the city. It's like they're just like it's another world, and I gravitate to that, and I'm so glad I'm able to like be around that.
For sure.
But like when I see you, like for you, like growing up in that, that's all you know. But the fact that the way you appreciate it and the way you get into it, I mean, you started learning how to do it, and now you know how to do it, and that translates to fashion because now you paint your own clothes, you have your own stuff. So that to me from the outside, I'm like, that's cool. I mean,
Thank you.
I want to do that. I want to like, because that's a one-on-one clothing for you. You know what I'm saying? So
For
you,
sure.
you tag your suit. I see you with your suit. I mean, that looks, it's clean, it's elegant. Where do you want to go from there? Like what's your like your goal in the next few years in terms of like you want to move to clothing and start your own thing?
For sure. I think fashion, bro, just being able to like gravitate towards that. I love the Soul Train era. I love like the funk era. I love that 90s era as well. So when I design clothing, I really want to like push towards that era, like in terms of dress slacks, tuxedos, a little bit
That's
more
sick.
classy, you know, wingtips.
I mean, like real men.
For sure.
That's the beginning
Mm.
of times. Like if you look back, a proper man is always
Mm.
well dressed. It's always soft spoken, and kind of like today we have lost that.
Mm.
But generations like you going ahead and doing that, I mean, you're making an impact in that world. That's what like again from the outside I'm like, that's cool what you're doing. I mean,
Thank you.
you're going to the right direction because I know a lot of people that they grew up and they have the opportunity to follow the leaders where they at, and they just don't do it. They just go a different direction because it's almost like it was already there for them. It was easy. But the fact that you keep doing it and you keep working on that, it's pretty cool to see.
Thank you. And I just love the fashion. You know, I love seeing a one piece rocked on somebody, you know, or being able to come to an event or a gallery or even just like the local market, you know, just like wearing something that's unique to you, something that makes you feel good, and something that's a representation of how you want to carry yourself.
Nothing can beat one-on-one.
For sure.
One-on-one that's just one-on-one in the market. Only you have it, only you're rocking it, and I mean, again, to me, that's the cool part about it. And it's like you have your own perspective in things, and you can show it, and then that would inspire other people to like, that's cool. I wanna, and it keeps growing that type of that culture. For you, when you were growing up, like, what was the in terms of difficulty, because you have a big shoe to fit too, right? I mean, if Toons is painting something huge, and you're looking up to that, like, how you deal with that, like how you make it happen?
For sure. You know, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is a little bit of anxiety. I start seeing the big like scale of what he's painting, and I'm like, oh man, can I do that? Am I able to reach that certain point? But then I start hearing the words he tells me, and it's all about patience, and it's all about learning and taking new information in, but also being patient. You know, patience the main thing. So as I was patient and as I kept practicing and practicing, I started to understand what that meant.
Just keep on doing it.
For sure. And it also, that confidence started to go up as well. So the ideas that I have and the certain the fluency that I want to go towards, I start to gravitate more towards it because the preparation I had as a youngster, but also the support that my family gives me all the time. So I think that plays a big role in a big piece that I want to paint, or something I want to take off on a pair of pants, or anything, you know. So I think that's like the main drive for
Just
me.
making more unique for yourself.
Yes, sir.
That's dope. And in terms of painting, are you painting like small things, or are you going straight to murals? Like, what's your favorite thing to do when you're doing that?
I would say primarily clothing, but recently I've been doing like a bunch of canvases. I recently put a canvas in the Peterson Automotive Museum, and what I like to represent is a bunch of writing, like a love letter, or like when you listen to a song and you can close your eyes and what does those lyrics feel like. So I like to represent that on my canvas.
That's
And then
it.
I had a 39 come out of like the words, the lettering I put, and then I just had a bunch of lyrics from an oldie. And when people listen to that song, that's what it feels like.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
you will add you will write things from the actual song, but you will also draw things on it.
Yes.
That's amazing. I will have to check that out. That pops in my head. I'm like, that's cool. Like, you write the song. Is which type of song it is?
Like, let's say like Smokey Robinson. Like if I put the song "Cruisin'," and I would just choose lyrics that mean something to me, and what has an impact on me, and then I'm like, okay, how can I relate that to an image or something that I also love? Oh, okay, I love cars. I grew up around cars, classic cars. I love a 39 Chevy. I'll have a 39 coming out of the letters.
That's
So
amazing.
I'll just think of these little wild ideas, you know. But prior to that, I didn't have, like, I would say that that boost. And I think the more support I got from my fam, and the more preparation I had, I started to get more confidence.
That's amazing. What are the things that you do, kind of like to clear your head in a good way? Like, for example, I like to go for long distance running.
Yes.
To get my head right and think about things I've been trying to figure it out, or trying to like get better on my own. Long distance running or going to surf help me to like just put everything on perspective. But like, this is I lay out my, like, a map. Like, what are the things that you do outside painting or doing clothes that get you there?
For sure. Growing up as a kid, I was always into martial arts. You know, I wasn't really like football, basketball. Yeah, I tried those sports, but I gravitated more towards martial arts. I did karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, but now I do Muay Thai.
That's
So
nice.
I do Muay Thai. I try to go every day, learning how to jump rope. So that to me is my yin and yang, the art and the martial arts.
That's good. What are you trying at?
MTK in NoHo.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a little Muay Thai gym up in North Hollywood.
That's nice.
And trainers from Thailand, they train from there.
Oh,
So
they're from Thailand, the ones that train there?
yeah, some of the coaches there are from Thailand, but a lot of them have fought there and have trained over there. The
Those-
main guy has.
Those
yes.
guys are fun to train because the
Yes.
way they hold mitts, they do like the whole thing, like they sweep you and they
Yeah.
get on top of you. Did you get a little bit of sparring too?
For sure, yeah, I do sparring, and it's crazy because it teaches me to just keep my hands up and don't get hit, you know, check kicks, and to also like it helps me with endurance, but it also helps me with a clear mind too. It helps me get that boost for the day. So I like to go early in the morning, and then it helps me start like when I want to draw or when I want to do a canvas or I have an idea. It helps clear that pathway for me.
I mean, draining that energy,
For sure.
it helps to like take all that energy that you don't need, but also the dopamine that you get from doing something that you love and you enjoy. It will also recreate you with more creativity and will just expand your mind to just send you off.
And I think that's a beautiful thing that you're saying you'd like to do long distance running, and I see that you do ice baths a lot too, so I'm sure that helps a lot with the recovery.
That's
And
that's one of the things. Like, jumping on the ice is something that never gets easier. Like, every time you're just looking at that thing, you're like, fuck, and then you open the lid and you see ice on it and you're like, this is not right.
right.
But then when you jump on it, it feels like, oh, I don't want to be here. But when you just clear your mind, it's like, it's okay, just let it go. It's only 3 minutes. It will time will pass. By the time you come out, it's almost like you're in a rush of like, yeah, like you're on a roller coasters all day. And
Yeah.
Are you getting into those?
I want to start. It was funny because like my pops was like, just take a cold shower, sir. You know, start with that and see how you like that, or jump in the pool. You know, because our pools gets pretty cold. You know?
Yeah,
So,
that's it gets too much sunshine.
yeah, so that's a good start. But I would love to. I think recovery is important, and I think I like to stretch a lot too. I like meditation, yoga, those type of things help clear my mind for sure.
That's sick. Rory's a master of yoga.
Oh, very cool.
He has a degree and a black belt in yoga.
Wow.
I have a black belt in anything. It's probably yoga.
Yeah.
Li-
Wow.
Live in India for how long?
I probably spent about 2 years in India
But like every day.
every day. I mean, I practice yoga every day for like 8 years.
That's beautiful,
I've been
man.
doing it for like 15, 16 years. At least 4 times a week since then.
We have a photographer and videographer. His name's Rama, and he does yoga as well. He goes to India, and he just does yoga over there, and he does retreats and all
Nice.
that. I think
he,
you've met
he
him.
called me. He was in
Oh, he did?
Ecuador. He was in the Amazon.
Yeah.
He was with like real native Indians, like
Yes.
from the land, like not like the guys in the city that
Mm.
they say that. No, like he was in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, bro, I'm in Ecuador, and I sent him a video back, and like all the tribe was like, oh my god, yeah, we know that's our guy.
He told me about that. That
Yeah.
was amazing.
I was
bro.
like, bro, that's so cool that you're like, I'm from there, and I haven't get the chance and the opportunity to be with the native, and I was like, dude, that's so cool. It's like, bro, it was like mind blowing being with that people. It was amazing.
And man, and it's just to see like him have that confidence to go and to just, or even just the opportunity to be able to learn from different cultures and learn from different types of people. And I think that's what I also want to do as well, you know, just travel as much as I can and learn different things and just learn different styles and types of fashion and ways of fighting, you know.
I mean, by traveling a lot, you put your mark on. You go to another place, you do a painting on a mural on a wall. I mean, that's almost the best way to put your mark out there in the world. Like just traveling. I mean, you can do small, big drones, whatever, but you're already international. Your art is already worldwide. So why not just getting out there and just doing it?
For sure. And I think that's something that I want to work towards as well. There's so many things that I want to do and so many things I want to rush towards, but then I learn to fall back and just kind of take my time.
Just let it happen slowly.
For sure. And just let it happen slowly. Like the same thing with training, you know, when hitting mitts, you know, I feel like you might not hit the jab cross all the time in a perfect form, but then eventually as you keep doing it, you get that confidence. You're like, oh man, I can hit it like real good and it feels good when I do it. So I think that's a beautiful thing.
It's just repetition over time.
For sure.
With everything. I mean, and the fact that you do things outside your comfort zone, like stretching, training Muay Thai, even jumping rope. I sometimes, it's a minute and I'm like, there's no way I can go 5 rounds crazy in a fight, but I cannot jump the rope for 5 minutes. That's why it's good to do things outside what you do, because
sure.
that conquering things like that will make your main craft will just go crazy.
Wow. And I wanted to ask you too, like when you're preparing for a fight or when you have to clear your mind, is there something like one thing that you love to do to just help clear that or to help you get that focus?
I kind of like to do, in every fight camp, I pick like 1 or 2 activities, like they're like fully outside my craft. Like could be something, I like to cook a lot.
Wow.
Like sometimes I try dishes that I have never done. I go to YouTube, get ingredients, and I say, best thing can happen. Everybody goes like, dude, you kill it. Worst of the worst, like, dude, I can eat this shit. And just finding things like that. Like right before I was coming here, I shoot my bow and arrow in the patio for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
And for a decent distance, like, and I have a small target. So if you miss, you will break. It's a real arrow. So like the arrow we just break in the wall. So I call my friend Cameron Haynes, who teach me how to shoot. I had 1 class ever, and then he sent me the bow and the arrow, and I ordered the target. And like right before I came here, I was like, okay, half an hour before I go record. So what I can do? And I was just like, if I jump in the hyperbaric chamber, it would take me too long. I'll be late.
Right.
I don't like to be late. So I was like, okay, what I can do? I went and shoot for 30 minutes. And then the kids get home and I was like, okay, no more shooting because it's dangerous, right?
Right.
One kid come running or whatever, it's not gonna be good. So,
Mm.
but like doing things like that, like for those 30 minutes I was shooting, I wasn't thinking on fighting or I have a fight coming up in 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Wow.
I was just shooting, and getting to do small things like that. It's almost like you forget about everything,
Mm.
and by the time you come back to the real world, it's like, okay, I gotta go do my thing. So, it's very important to always do something like different, like things that you're not good at. Like sometimes I go surf a little more, sometimes I run more, but I'm always picking something that I'm not doing all the time. Like going to yoga. I haven't done yoga in a while now, but like few fights ago, I would go twice a week, and it was so hard. I was like,
It is, yeah.
I see like older ladies just going like non-stop the whole class, and mid-class I was just like, oh my god, I want to go home. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So that's something I always advocate for. Like, just get a little bit out of your comfort zone because that will give you something to think about it and get good at, and then when you come back to the things that you're good at, it feels a little easier.
I love when you say comfort zone, because I think breaking out of that is so important. And I think for me, as I still try to learn, I love to learn. I love to experience different types of things. But I know I'm gonna have to get out of my comfort zone to try those things, you know? So that's such an exciting word to use and also to experience as well. And I want to just keep trying and keep learning. You know?
Why not? I mean, it's so the things are out there. It's just you gotta go and try them. What you like? You go to a range and shoot your air at home. Like those little things will just be like game changer, because once you don't feel confident in something and you kind of like master it a little bit, it's like you just have to try. And that's the problem with a lot of people. They don't try. They kind of use a slack bag. I don't know, it's not my thing, but opportunities are out there. It's just gotta try for them.
For sure. And I think just that opportunity as well. I love to just, like when I'm painting in front of, or when I'm airbrushing, I always see that canvas as an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity for something I could make, or for something that could be something great. But I also I like to see the end result in a lot of things. I like to see myself in this amount of time, or I like to plan my day out, and even just a piece as well. But I also want it to have meaning and not just something I put on a canvas. Something that relates either to me or to my family or to people who also relate to that art form as well.
I mean, having meaning on anything in life, just finding meaning for whatever you do, it will make it so much better at the end of the day. Because sometimes we do a lot of things because we have to do a lot of things, but even in the little things, when you find a good why, it will make the end result so much better and more beneficial. The joy that you get filled with is just like, it's way better. I mean, so why not putting that meaning on things like that?
For sure. And I wanted to ask, what does discipline mean to you? Because you have a great discipline and a great work ethic, and especially you have to have that as a fighter, but also it's just in your character, you know? So
the way I see it, there's always a confusion between motivation and being disciplined. Like some days I wake up and that morning I can kick anyone's ass, right? Talking about Minecraft fighting. Today I felt great. I go to the gym, I sport. Every move was done right. Every slip, every defensive move was like, coach was like, dude, keep doing that. Don't do that. But we're humans. Some other days we wake up and you just like the thoughts in your brain. I mean, we gotta understand there's chemicals in our brain. Sometimes some of the bad ones just spill, or I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but that's something that happened for real. So that's when discipline should come, and discipline should we always be at front. Because motivation, I say before, it's a sneaky little fucker. Like sometimes you just wake up and it's not in you. The day looks gray, like you're walking with kind of your head down and you can explain it. I've been driving my car like a week after I win a huge fight, and you feel weird, like things are not right, and then you just gotta like kind of like move that smoke out of the way and kind of like see the big picture and be like, Okay, you just like discipline will always be there. Like you can always push yourself a little more in anything in life, but motivation sometimes it's just not there. That power, that thing that move you, sometimes it's not there. But discipline for me is the most important thing, because even in your worst day, if you push through, at the end of that day, at the beginning of the next morning, you will wake up just thinking like, I can do this, and that will grow the confidence. That those inches will just keep moving forward instead of just waiting for the days that you feel good.
Mm.
And that's the way I see it. Everything in life.
Wow, yeah, I love that. I love the way you said that, man. I can totally relate. I feel like coming up with different ideas, or just being able to push yourself to get in front of that easel, or to practice, or to just draw. I feel like that repetition will always be there, like you said, but that motivation sometimes comes and goes, for sure. And I think that's just like you said, it's just like being human. It's like a wave, we're gonna have highs, we're gonna have lows. Sometimes we're gonna have to balance our yin and yang, and we're just gonna have to deal with those type of things.
And we all, I mean, that's what I tell people. Like sometimes you compare yourself with someone else, and you're like, this guy's doing so well, but then we don't see everything. We always see the tip of the iceberg. We never see the whole massive iceberg. Like, you go through so much in life that sometimes you can look left and right and be like, oh, but this person went a little faster than I do, or that person got a deal, or learn how to do this quicker. Life can be really long, but also can be really short. So for me, it's like, when I'm trying to get better at something, when I'm trying to come back from a fight that I didn't did well, or I want to do better, or just life in general, like just the everyday family and everything, it's just like, you gotta always look for that little thing that will be like, let's fix this little thing. Maybe this tiny little thing will make my whole life better. And that also comes with your circle, with the type of people that is talking in your ear, because a lot of advice isn't always the best advice. So ears gotta be very picky on the things that you blog, because my coach always says this, like, a lot of people say something, but not everybody knows how to talk to it subconsciously. Like, that thing deep in the back of your head, that's the most important thing, because the body, it will hold up. You can get strong, everything, but the mind, to me, is the most important thing. And do things that make you happy. I mean, I'm pretty sure when you're painting, you're stoked. And sometimes you're not feeling like right doing it. I'm like, why? But this is the thing I love. Why it's not going that well? It's just because it's the waves. Might as well just surf those.
Yeah.
Just go with you gotta go with the wave.
For sure. Oh man, because that's how I feel sometimes, bro. But a lot of the times I'm full of, oh man, this is what I want to do. I love doing this. This makes me happy, and this is my purpose in life. This is like something that I do for me. And even like when I make a one piece, or I like to just get down on anything, I think that's like, even these curtains, like I'm down to get down on those curtains, man, and just put a little something, so
they're yours, bro. Go for it.
I think just like seeing everything as a canvas, and also seeing life for how it is. That's how I want to approach my life, and that's how I want to approach the things that I do.
I mean, you have the right thoughts, and it's just like, you just gotta like do it again and do it again. Like, in terms of like painting, I see you're really good at the lettering, and you say you paint cars. What has been the most difficult thing to paint outside that?
I would say I'm learning characters, so I'm doing a figure drawing at a local college, and Pasadena Art Center. It's like a summer extension course, but they have live models come in, and then we just do figure drawing, and we just do it from this time to this time. So I want to apply that to my airbrushing, so I can start doing characters and start doing little things that I want to do. But to me, that's challenging, because capturing light, bringing that expression to life, and also trying to come up with an idea that's meaningful, but also half the time it doesn't have to mean anything. It could just be
art.
It's art, exactly. It could just be something that's there. But I think that's the challenge as well, is just being able to I would say apply myself to those ideas and just say that's a good idea or that's not a good idea, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
I mean, and maybe come out even the best that you could even think it will be.
For sure, yes.
Like you feel like sometimes when you just paint, like sometimes you go no meaning. You're just gonna start doing something. You think that most of the time came better that when you are actually seeing something and you gotta go perfectly copying what is coming out of your mind. Is that harder to do?
I feel like as I start to come up with something and I see an end result, I just do it, but then I expand upon that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's where I start to get more loose. As I pre-plan something, and then as I get that pre-plan onto something, then it starts to expand because I'm more comfortable with the idea. So if I were to like paint a smile now, cry later clown, I might see it how it is on a suit or on dress pants, but then as the time goes on and I start painting it, I'm like, okay, maybe I want to put it in this spot, or maybe I want to put this behind it, or I want the light to come from this direction. So I think it's just being able to be well-rounded in what you're thinking and what you're painting.
Do you, when you do something, you do it like one time, but you also, I hear like other artists sometimes do like the center of a piece, and then few weeks later they come back and they add things. You like to do that, or you like to do like one painting and that's the painting it is?
I feel like small chips. I always like the small chips. I feel like once I get warmed up and I put something on a canvas, I think to me that's more a weight off my shoulders. But then I can step away and I can do like my Muay Thai, or I can do spend time with my family, and then I come back to the piece and I get another jolt of inspiration. I'm like, oh man, I didn't even think about that, because I was so like narrow-minded on that design that I didn't step away from it. So I think it's good to step away from those type of things and then come back to it and then add another more bit of energy to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that definitely makes sense. Like you do something, leave it there.
Yes.
Kind of like just go away, forget about it, and come back and be like, oh, I can add this, put this, and
Yes.
then you just make a secret paint that
For sure.
already was.
Yes. And I think that can be applied to fighting as well. So when you're fighting, do you see like when you do certain things and then you step away from it and you come back, do you see you can do something different than what you did before?
100%. Like sometimes, like when I'm watching a fight of mine, and I'm like, I say like, oh, right there, I could step to the left and cutting more into the cage and kind of like throw something, or kind of like sometimes I go like, oh, like for example, my last fight, it didn't win the way I wanted. It was the biggest fight of my life, fought for the title, and when I look back now, I'm like, I pretty much just boxed this guy. I didn't kick much the way I normally kick. I didn't clinch the way I normally like to clinch, and that just gives me perspective for the next one. So I'm like, now that when I'm training or when I'm sparring, I'm not just flat on my foot looking for a big punch, because that's what I was doing, and that was just the mentality I went into that fight. I'm like, I'm gonna break this guy. I'm gonna put pressure. I'm gonna punch a hole through his head on his head, and I'm gonna walk away with the belt. And I kind of like small mind myself instead of like do it all. Like I normally clinch a lot, use my knees, my elbows, kick people. This time I went like, I'm gonna just get in front of you and just break you. Sometimes work. This time didn't work. So now when I went back to the gym, I went fast fit. I want to be more mobile. I want to be more athletic. I want to kick more. I want to come in and out instead of just going forward all the time. And I mean, if you're open-minded to like be like, oh yeah, I messed up here, I could do better, your mind just almost like let go in a way that like you can come back and do it better. But if you're stubborn and you're like, next time when I just walk forward and try to punch his head off, most likely you won't get better.
I love that you say that, man, for sure, because that can apply to everything, for sure. Just being able to learn from things that you do and things that you think could have gone better. And I think that has a lot of value to whoever you are as a person, to count your mistakes as not as mistakes but as success as well.
And most people will probably always, when things don't go your way, the main reaction I see in most people they blame something. They blame somebody. They're like, oh, the situation wasn't right. I didn't have what I would need, or this person didn't do a better job. Sometimes you gotta take accountability as a man and be like, okay, I was the one in there. I went in there thinking everything was good. So now, how you can make it better? There's always way to make it better, but you have to accept that there was also a mistake. If you're the type of person that goes, oh, it's all good, it's all good, I know. Like when you see a person and that anyone's tell them something and they say, I know, they're fucked, in my opinion. Because, oh, what about this? I know. Oh, but what about, I know. Oh, you know everything then. So it's like sometimes you gotta like sit back and kind of like just listen to what's going on and probably do a small change on it. And that's what I believe. I'm gonna go in there, win, and get back on title contention.
Wow, yeah. And I think that criticism is what keeps us on our toes, right? And I love to hear criticism, whether it's from my pops or from other artists as well who I look up to, and being able to, I want someone to nitpick what I did because I don't want to think that it's perfect. I want there to be another level that I could reach to it, but also another form of impact that can be shined upon on that piece or that little lettering that I did. I want there to be something that I did a little bit wrong, but someone who's more experienced than me to tell me that. And I think I want to learn upon what they're saying. So if like, oh, your letter's tilting this way, oh, you could have put this fade that way, don't have the letters too thick, they all got to be consistent weight, or the light has to shine here and the shadow has to come here. And then I like to listen and accept that and then take it in my way and then approach it differently.
I mean, there's always room for improvement.
For sure.
That's the one thing that everybody on any craft gotta understand. There's, even when you're the best in the world, there is still room for improvement. And the other things, like, there's 100 guys hungry for your position. So even when you get to a certain level, you gotta understand there's a million guys coming uphill just trying to rush through you to get to that tip. So it's like there's always, you gotta always keep scratching the surface and never. It's like swimming, right? If you quit doing this, you just go down. If you get tired, you can like probably relax, probably whatever. But at the end of the day, you gotta always rise to the top.
Always keep swimming. Keep swimming.
You gotta always keep trying. And sometimes you can go a little sideways. Sometimes you can like, the thoughts and the direction can go a little side, but it's still going up because you don't want to. No, you don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. So it's like, why not keep moving up, moving forward?
And that's how I see each day. I see, okay, I could have done better than yesterday, or maybe I could have done better than the day before, because I tend to be hard on myself and I tend to want to improve every day, but also I like to try to max out what I could do. And if I don't get what I seek to do in that one day, I get like, oh man, like I could have done that better and this better. And then I look at it retrospect and I'm like, I'm making small chips. I'm making small chips in that statue, you know, to make something out of nothing.
It's like a little. It's like a puzzle. You keep putting a chip here, a chip there, a chip
for
there.
Sure.
And sometimes when you only have halfway through, you cannot see the beautiful image. But the moment you stop putting the chips on, is a moment that you will never see it. So if you keep going, no matter what, you will see something at the end of that.
And just seeing an end result, it just feels so satisfying, and it just makes you feel as if like you had an impact, you know, not on, it doesn't even have to be as big as an impact on the world, but an impact on you, on what makes you you, and why you do the certain things you do in life, and what makes you a better person, and what makes you want to gravitate towards a passion that you have. And I think that's what I learned as a young kid, was to just hold on to that deer and to be able to just learn from your mistakes, but also have confidence and understand that it's going to take time, it's going to take patience. You just got to learn as much as you can, do what's in front of you, and don't look too far into the future, because that can hold you back sometimes.
That would definitely. I like you say that, because when you look past all the process, you won't push through it because you're only looking at the end of the race lane. And sometimes life there's no end. Sometimes you can cross one, but that was just one stop on it. Life's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So however you can finish it, it's up to you. But
For
you
sure.
you can't sprint the whole time.
Keep that endurance up. Keep that endurance up, and keep getting that stamina up. But sometimes you need a rest. Sometimes you can't just full throttle all the time, and that's what I'm learning too. Because that's if I could just go 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 go. But then I gotta learn to take it easy sometimes and just kind of learn to look at things from afar and then make improvements on that.
I mean, that's the best way to do it. In terms of like who you get the most outside your father, who were the people that you were like looking up growing up in any part of the art world? Like, who were the other people that you were like, I like what they're doing?
Yeah, I would say a lot of like primarily designers. Like I look at Kaz, or I look at like this one artist. His name's Doro the Third.
I love that guy.
Doro's he's the man. This guy named Magoo, he also airbrushes as well. And these type of guys who are into the car culture and the lowrider world, that's something that I'm connected to. And I also see the time and patience that those guys put into their work. And also I see younger generations like this new artist Ozzy Juarez. He's a badass fine art painter. And Gustavo, he's another one too. He does like real street life scenes and stuff like that. But the younger generation and the older generation, I like to learn from both.
I mean, you definitely would pick from both because what I see, the younger ones, the hunger they have, the big criteria they have, and then when you see like a established artist, like an older one that they already know what to do. They any day of the week they can just go with the non-dominant hand and just do something crazy. You get the wise and the knowledge from them, and then you can look a little back and be like, that's the hunger that I should keep now to get there one day.
For sure. And I think just like in the graffiti scene, like every time I'm driving, I see all this graffiti on the freeway, and I know I got to keep my eyes on the road, but I want to look a little bit, and I want to see what these kids and these dudes are doing, man. And just
it's sick,
man. And I just love it that people are down to take down on a wall. They're down to paint all over their clothes. Like even new designers today, like this one designer, Kid Super. He's real cool.
He's great.
He's great.
He's doing amazing. I have a few of his pieces, and
really
the way he just looks right. Like,
it looks
just
right.
fit perfect, and I love that he's doing a lot of collaboration with the old soccer players, with the old legends, and they have like the polo jerseys from back in the day with the new touch of like just the different art, and the way that the clothing looks like it's like all painted. I love that. I have pants from him. I got a big puffer, and I got even the boots. I mean,
wow.
They look amazing.
He's the man, bro. And just like that's something I want to paint on, that type of quality, but also that type of vision that someone had. So, recently me and my father went to Japan, and being able to see all the fashion and streetwear that everyone's wearing, and the way they dress, the way they do their hair, everyone's just out the pad looking fresh.
I love the Japan culture, how like if you see like a street picture or when they do pop-ups, you just go like, they just look right.
Yeah.
Everybody got something cool out there, like,
for sure.
And I'm super into clothing too, so when I use, every time I see something, my IG, I get only ads of clothing and it's
too,
all the
yeah.
shit I like, and I'm like, that's cool. I mean, it's just like, I see like there's not even like a competition anymore. It's like there's just a lot of cool out there, and that to me is sick. When you guys went for did the bikes and the cars.
Yeah,
like,
for the born and raised and stuff like that.
I had that. Like, Duro sent me that bike. I was like, dude, that thing's going straight to my gym. That bike is amazing.
Yeah.
He's like, have you ride? I'm like, fuck no, I'm not gonna ride it. That thing it won't touch the ground.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you should. I'm like, no, dude, that thing's gonna go on the wall.
Yeah.
And he made me one years ago, like a low rider one, and he always asked me like how it feels. I'm like, dude, I can't ride that thing. That thing should be on a glass. That thing is not for right.
And it's because you're a collector. You know, you're a collector of different people's visions, but also things that you gravitate towards, you know, and things that make you feel like, oh man, like I could see the time and patience that went behind that, for sure.
He makes those from scratch. Like he goes piece by piece. Like when I see the IG videos that he's putting like the handles,
Yeah.
the chain, the seat, I'm like, those things are not made to be right. Those
Yeah.
things are made to look. There's a piece of art. Like everybody, like people come to my garage like, dude, all these things are closed. I'm like, they will be closed. Like I got the gels from Arturo.
Oh, yeah.
And everything is on the box. I don't
Wow.
open those things. Even when I get a haircut and I need pomade, I buy something from the store. I don't use that shit. That everything is sealed. I like to keep those things sealed.
I love that. Yeah, that's dope, man. I think I'm both ways too. Sometimes I'll keep stuff in, like something from the 90s, like that my pops had, or like some t-shirt, and he's like, I would wear it, and he's like, that's older than you. And I'm
That's
wearing
crazy.
something that's real vintage, but I'll rock it, you know. But I should really frame it, and I really should put it up there, you know.
Even sometimes with clothing,
Yeah.
I keep them like on the back, and then someone will come and say, like, dude, that's sick. You should wear that to this press conference. So I'm like, no, dude, that 10 years from now, that thing is gonna be like a Picasso paint. So just leave it there.
Yeah.
Even when I get like something like when I got Kid Super Puffer,
Oh,
it's a big
sick.
one, the yellow one, with all the paintings, and there's like people in there.
Yeah.
It's like a crazy. I took it one time to New York. I haven't worn it since, and I won't wear it anymore, just because I want it brand new. I don't want it messed up. I don't want like I'm so like sometimes I have so much cool stuff that I don't even wear.
Wow. And I think that's totally fine, man.
It
I
is
think
fine. I
because
know.
it's you're collecting, and it is also, it has value as well. And you never know what that'll represent in this amount of time, like you were saying.
It will
sure.
be something like the first pair of Born and Raised shoes that I got from Espanto, the Air Force. They're in the box. I wore them. I used them probably 2 times. They're all white. They're brand new.
Wow.
I wore them one time. I have a picture with my family. We went to the mall 2 Christmas ago. Haven't touched them. The Dr. Martin that they have like tattoo on it. Like
Yeah, those are dope.
I put it one time.
Yeah.
And I wore it in my home. I was like, I had like a whiteboard and I was like, fuck, I look fly. And I was like, let me take it. I just put my old love or something. Like, I know when I wear them.
Yeah.
And the box is so cool that
Sick.
I was some things I'm like, I love them and I really want to wear them, but I don't want to scratch. I don't want someone stepping on it. I want that thing cherry.
I feel you, man, because sometimes there's an event and I save it for that day, and you know, they end up getting scuffed, or I get bummed. I'm like, oh, I should have just kept it in the box, man.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, if I would have 2 of everything I have,
Yes.
that like I want to make a copy of everything I have and wear the copy.
For sure. That's why I know. That's why I see like people buy 2 things. I'm like, wait, why do they buy 2 of the same thing? Oh, because maybe one they want to rock it, and the other they want to keep for a collectible.
Like there's
item.
just some things like even the mask
Yeah.
from your dad.
So cool.
They're on the box. They're on my shelf at home, but they're like one day my son was opening, I was just like, dude, don't you ever fucking open this. He's like, why? He was trying to wear it in the school. I'm like, I get you a fucking monkey mask if you want, but I will. This one, do not touch it. And then I kind of explaining why and who did it. And I was like, okay, I get it.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
Because they're in my, even the Modelo beer glasses, they're on the actual box on my shelf in my living room. And one day we had like a party at home, and one of my friend opens, these are sick glasses. I was like, dude, put them back, or we're fighting right now. Keep this motherfucker. He's like, dude, but you don't want to use them. I'm like, no, dude, I want them on the box.
Wow, I love that, man, because artists can apply that to themselves, and not only artists but other people, just being able to sometimes just keep things how they are, and it's better that they're left untouched, you know, and we never know.
The value is just way more. For me, it's the personal value. Like, like the baseball bat. I put it like on top of the TV in the living room so no one can reach it, and I put it in a way that is like it's not even reachable for me. So if I want, I will have to get a chair and get it. And the box, like the pillow box, I put it in the garage, and I keep it nice. I'm like, and my wife was already like, can it throw? Like she was throwing away some shit in the garage, and she's like, can it throw? I'm like, no, that's the box. Do not throw the box. She's like, why? But trust me, just keep the box there. We'll be fine.
Sick.
It's my garage. That's my closet.
Yeah.
Just keep it there.
Yeah. Oh man, that's such a trip. And same thing can go with cars. Same thing can go with, like you said, clothing. And also just a bunch of other things that you want to preserve.
What is like the coolest item that you found, like an old item, could be from someone else or from your dad, like that you saw and it's like untouchable? Like, what is that item that there's at home or in the studio?
Damn, that's a good one. There's one. It's like like an old, like one of those box phones from like the 90s. We have one in like a cupboard, and I see it, and I'm like, oh, I want to use that for like a little like video shoot that
Like
I do. Like if I dress like real old school, and then like I bust that out, it'll look real crazy. But like I don't want to touch it, man, because it just looks like it should just be there, And it's like if something's in a glass shelf, you don't want to touch that, And I remember as a kid, I'd go through like the certain little collectible things, like the little bear bricks or the little Lost Angel toys, or the, I'd want to play with them, but then, I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't be touching that.
Yeah, there's some things at home that I tell the kids, like, this is not to touch. Like, it looks like a toy. It could be a toy, but it's not a toy to be played with. And they know that they're good kids. They're like, okay, that no. Some things I'm like, okay, you can open that, do whatever you want. But there's some things at home that I'm like, don't you ever touch that. Like, my wife knows, like, she's like, even when people come, like, clean the house, I grab them, put them on top of my bed, they clean, and I put them back. And the lady's like, no, I can put it. I'm like, no, I put it back. I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, for sure. How are your kids, and how is your family doing?
They're great, man. The kids are in summer break right now.
Very cool.
So, like, we live near, you're familiar with the Back Bay here?
Oh, okay.
So we go for long walks in there, and all the flowers are blooming. So it's like,
wow.
I bring my film camera and just take some shots out there. This guy put me into taking photos, and now I have a film camera everywhere I go.
Just documenting life, documenting your experiences, right?
And like, things like I get to realize a few years ago, I'm fortunate enough to be in a position that I'm backstage in a concert, or I'm getting tattooed by your dad, and take a picture of him prepping the tattoo, or take a picture with him afterwards. Like, that moment is captured forever, and the film camera is just like give you that like tone. Like, that's the one thing I've been getting in the last few years. I'm just taking pictures everywhere I go, because everybody takes pictures with the phone. Everybody's like phone. They don't have the value.
I don't go back to it sometimes. I remember like, oh man, this is so dope, I'm gonna go back to it, and I just don't end up going back to it.
Exactly. I have a folder only for my film camera photos, and sometimes I'm like, that picture is sick. And some, like, he teach me that thing, like, out of a roll with 30 photos, if you have 2 epic ones, that's a win. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I don't like taking the roll to the developed people. I love that. I go in there and I just, like a little nerd, just talk about cameras and what should they get. Should get a different one, like, and sometimes just point and shoot, and you came out with a crazy photo.
And I just see photographers, bro, and I just see like the way they're able to capture certain things, and even like I'm sure like when you're fighting and you see pictures that people take, I'm sure you're amazed by the certain angles that people get, and just the way that's able to just bring life.
There's a photo when I fought in New York, and the guy captured like this millisecond when I kick the guy in the head, and it's like my whole foot is right behind his jaw, and his whole face just crunched for that, I don't know, half a second. And that, I mean, I never post that picture because it's just too gnarly, and I already won the fight, so I don't need to do it. But when I saw that photo, I was like, wow. I mean, that it's almost like no one is planning to capture that moment. But the fact that, I mean, my opponent's face looks like a cartoon. and it's a real photo.
Right.
That photo was like, holy shit, like. And now that I take photos, sometimes like I'm just playing around, like I'm in a concert with a friend, I'm taking photos backstage or in a tattoo studio, and some of those photos come out like I'm like, holy shit, that looks like someone that, like someone that's been doing this forever.
Yeah.
And I've been taking photos for like 2 years.
Yeah. Wow. And that's something that you love to do on the side as well. You know, that, like you said, being able to distract yourself from the main things you love to do, but also doing the small things to really like give you that extra calmness and extra, focus.
And sometimes it's like sometimes people that they don't know who I am, and I'm with a camera, and they go like, hey, you take a picture. I'm like, fuck yeah, I take a picture. and then they're like, oh, you're the fighter. I'm like, no, you got the picture. I'm like, no, I'm the photographer today. I'm taking everybody's picture.
Yeah.
And that's sick to me because I'm not a photographer. I know a bunch and I know big names. So when they see my little film camera, they're like, holy shit, that's cool. And then I ask them about like what's better during the day or what's better indoors or outdoors, and this just like you get to like just go on a plain canvas. I'm brand new here. Let me see what I get. And sometimes I go back to my film photos. I'm like, wow, that's a sick picture. I mean, being taking pictures of someone singing or rapping or painting is like, maybe one day I do a little book.
Yeah, and just capturing those moments, right? And I even trip out too, like when I see like my sister play drums, or when I see my little sister like she loves to write, or my mom play vinyl. You know,
I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Every time your dad repost the vinyl one, is like that page. That's your mom page, right?
Yeah, Soul Sundays. Yeah.
So she only posts the vinyls,
She
right?
only puts vinyl, and she, as a kid, like that's all I would hear. I would hear all these oldies, and to a certain point, I was like, man, can we put the regular radio on, man? Like we're playing this too much. And then as I got older, I'm like, I only want to play that.
It's because I have a record player at home, and I was in New York, and I was in the studio with a friend, and a producer was just playing vinyl. And then I see the way he was like, putting the disc, the way they grab it. They gotta go nice on the mat. Then you gotta put the needle on. And I was just looking at him, and I was like, how much are one of those?
Yeah.
He's like, and I got the techniques. Like I went straight to the pros, and then I called a producer friend. I was like, okay, I have the Yamaha speakers, everything. How I put this together now? Because it's not just a plug-in thing. It's like there's like 40 cables in that thing.
Yeah.
And 1 hour on the phone, like putting it together. And now I start with 2 vinyls. Now I have like over 80 ones.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that you collect. And you start going like the one-on-ones, the limited editions, like things that people don't have. And sometimes I spend like a few hours in a record store just digging deep. And I'm like, hey, where's the salsa? Where's this Spanish music? Where's the jazz? And then I'm like, who you have in the rap world? And then, they have the few big names, but I'm like, I don't want that. I want like the crazy ones, like Mac Homie vinyls are crazy.
Wow.
And he makes them like, I mean, the colors that he make, the thing on top, and the way he sell them, he sell them like in a way that not resellers can get it. So they go, there's a thing called Dislog, I believe, and you get a profile, and then you find vinyls in there. You find everything in there. There's some vinyls that cost $1,000, and I'm like, holy shit! And that it's like a race with yourself. Like you start trying to get the crazy ones and stuff like that. And it's like that's another collecting problem that I have, is getting into the vinyl thing.
Yeah, and even with my mom saying, she's even like, sometimes it's spending the time in the record store, really digging through them, and you'll find one that's not that expensive, but the value is so there.
Everybody goes to the wall. There's like the cooler ones are in the wall.
Right.
I do the same thing when you go one by one, and sometimes there's hundreds of it. I find something that I don't even know what it is, but the artwork on the thing is crazy. I go like, what is that? It's like some jazz from the 50s, and I'm like, I want that. It's like, yeah, but I'm like, don't worry about it. And then I go home and put it on, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, I just get to discover a new artist that I didn't know that exists just by the crazy cover. And then the vinyl colors also came out crazy sometimes, and it's like, it's just cool to play those things. And it takes patience because one runs over, you gotta flip them, and That's another thing that I get into lately, and I was just like, that's so cool.
And the music was just like something that I really gravitated towards as a kid. And I did drums here and there, and I would try instruments, but I think just listening to it. And then now I'm able to apply that to my artwork. And now I'm able to connect those two worlds together because that's what makes me feel at home.
You make them one.
Yeah, I love to make them one. And I think a lot of that inspiration comes from my mother and my father just putting that music in my ear. Every time we're in the car and the low, they love to put these new jams on, and sometimes they bump, sometimes they're calm, and sometimes I'm like, oh man, I don't know how to feel right now. I don't know how to feel, but this is how I want to feel because this song is just so sick.
It's just bumping.
Yeah.
What's like the crazy vinyl that you have found at home?
I'm sorry?
What is like the crazy vinyl that you have found at home?
Oh man, I would say like By the Love Lights, or like there's like a Rick James album my mom's has, and he's like in all leather, and he's just like his hair's all crazy, but like, and there's Japanese writing on the side, and I'm like, that's dope. The artwork, like you said, it just, you want to listen to it, and then you listen to it and you're like, damn. Or like even Marvin Gaye, or even all like the Moments, like, you know, all these little bands, you know, and these soul groups, they really knew what they were doing back then. They really knew how to gravitate someone's eye to go there.
There's this one record that it took me months to find. It's by Herbie Hancock.
Oh,
It's the Headhunters.
Yeah.
That one, it was impossible. Like, I couldn't find online. I mean, I could if I would have extremely overpriced it. And I was going to record store after record store. I went all the way to Fullerton. I went to HB. I went to the ones in Irvine. I went all the ones in Costa Mesa locally. Couldn't find it. And then one day I was coming back from LA, and I was like midway, and I just typed like record store near me, and I had time. I had nothing to do. I just detoured a little bit. It was like a hole in the wall. Like, this old man was like, it's like, hey, what's up, man? I was like, by chance you have Herbie Hancock? It's like, dude, I have the craziest one. And I went like, please say the name. It's like, I got the Headhunters. And I was like, bro, give me that. It's like, it's a little price. I'm like, I don't care. I'm here. I found it. It was a sign. I take it.
Yeah.
And he had some crazy. He had like old salsa. He had it's Willie Colon with Hector Lavoe. When they moved from Puerto Rico, I believe from Puerto Rico to New York, the very first one. And that one, they're not even singing back then. It's just instruments. That one hits hard. And when I play that one the most out of my collection, and I was like, do you have more of this? I will buy anything like this. And it's like,
Yeah.
That's all I got right now.
Yeah. It's those collectibles, man, that sometimes people have, and you're like, I want that, you know, but also you find things that no one has, or some maybe people do have, but you're like, you know what, I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to at least have that thing, you know. And that's like, could be anything with low riding too. Like when I just see low riders on the street, you know, I'm like, you're already in, man. Like you're
part of this.
You're part of it, you know. You're already repping. Even if you have like, my first car was like a Suzuki, like a Toyota Suzuki, and then
the small or the big one?
It's like a box, like the little cube looking ones.
I had my first one was a Mitsubishi Montero.
Oh,
it's very similar to that one.
Yeah, so it's you know, they're small, you know, but they look fucking sick, you know. So in high school, my pops had a Suzuki. He still has a Suzuki Samurai, and it has Dayton's on it, but it's just poking out. It's like a box car, and I'm like, these look similar. Can we put Dayton's on these? And I ended up doing it, and then I just, you know, I was able to pull up to school in it for a little bit, you know. But you know, you gotta take them off sometimes to you know, the road's pro bumpy and all that stuff.
And when you lower it, you hit everything.
Yeah, but I was like, you know what? It's not a lowrider, but I feel like I'm a part of it, man. You know,
Yeah.
I got the wheels on it at least.
I'm there. You know? I mean, at least I'm heading that direction.
Yeah.
in the car world, what's your dream one?
A 57 Rag, Bel Air. That's like my dream car right there, man.
I had a 55 for a year.
No way.
Two-tone, red and white.
That's sick.
That was my dream car.
Wow.
I told him not to sell it.
And then I was losing my life on that thing, dude.
Mm.
Every month, $1,000, $1,500. You know, so I had to part with it. But I had it for a year.
Hey, but you created memories in there, man. It's there. You know, they're in your
That's
memory.
every time he would pick me up on that car, I was like, dude, don't sell it. I now looking back, I'm like, I could have bought it from you.
I think I'll get another one, but I will get a 57.
Sick.
What color do you like?
That's something that I've like. You know, I always come up with colors, and my pop is like, you know, the color's the last thing. It'll come.
You can. This is my theory with cars. If the car runs good and is clean, I check the shittiest color, because that's something you can always change easier than a motor, than the transmission, exhaust, whatever. Color, I don't care. If the car is cool, I say, even if the thing is pink and whatever, pink and green, I take it.
Has some polka dots on here and there. Yeah, it will still take it.
Just take it, because that's the easy part to fix. I believe. I agree with your pops there. I've been craving for a El Camino.
Sick.
And it's crazy when you want something, those motherfuckers pass by you all the time, and I'm like, but if I get an El Camino, I'm gonna put bags on it. I saw ones with bags and it was going like, boom, boom. And I was like, out of all the cars that you can put bags on it, that one looks crazy.
Yeah, it's like a mini, like, it has a bed in the back. You know, it just lays good. It's just sick.
It's sick. That one, I've been like, I want one of those. I've been like, that would be a good add to the. I think I have the perfect combo is the Grand National Impala 96.
Oh, hell yeah. That's dope.
I have the green one.
Yeah.
That's like, those two are like brothers.
Bro.
They're like,
so dope.
It's almost like the same car in a way, but with a different vibe. And now when I see El Camino, I'm like, I think El Camino will be the next ad.
G-body action, huh?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. The SS. Oh man, that's real retro right there. I drive the one that we have, and here and there, and I'm like, even just backing it out of the garage, I'm happy to do that, you know, and I don't even gotta take it in the street, you know. I'm just happy to just at least put it in reverse.
Yeah, that's
feel it.
That's a sick one.
Yeah.
And I found one. It was like a light blue outside, and it was all blue inside. And I was like, that's kind of like, you're in a cloud on that one. With that car, I would go really funky with the color, and like crazy rims, just like almost like full chrome. That's the one I think I'm gonna go next.
Were you always a car lover, or did that come with time, or did that?
My dad is my biggest problem. He's not a car collector.
Yeah.
He gets bored of a car, he sell it, and get sometimes the same thing, just different color. And growing up, he will always have a new car. Like every 6 months, he will buy it, fix it, enjoy it, sell it, get another one. And that's why I have the F-150 92, because that was like the first car that I fell in love with. He had one when I was a kid, and I thought I was the coolest kid on town because my dad have an F-150. And then he have like the 73 250, only four gears. It's light blue. It's two-tone with a white strap. He still have that one, and he have a Ranger. When the Ranger was big, he have a Ranger 84, I believe, right now for the farm. But he keep them so cherry, like he destroyed them in the farm when he gotta go work. But when he come back, he's always looking for a new chrome, new wheels, new rims, and he always have a different body shape. He never stopped. Like, he would change cars all the time. And now that I grew up with that, and the main person was your dad. Your dad is the reason I have those two cars, because when I met him and I started seeing the cars, I was like, fuck, those cars are sick. I want that. But then now that I have them, my dad come and drive them. He's like, dude, don't sell these things.
Yeah.
And every time he finds something online, he's like, you should get that. I'm like, Dad, I'm not trying to get another car. Like, he almost make me bought the same F-150 I have, but it was a Lariat, so it's like the fancy one, and it was out. He's like, dude, just get it. You can have one mechanic, one out. I'm like, Dad, same color, same year. It was just like, but it was pretty cool, the one he sent me, and it was in Oregon. I almost pulled the trigger. Like, that. That's bad advice. I can have the two cars the same year, the same color. That's like going back to having two of them.
Yeah.
Maybe I can. go hard on one and the other one just display.
Yeah, it's just pick your color. You know, pick your color of the rainbow, man. What you want, and what cars you want in certain colors, and sometimes you want them all. But hey, just having a good solid few, or even just like a couple, man, you're able to be in that world.
Man, it's just the car world it goes far. It's like you start with one and you think like, oh, I'm cool, and then you go like, what about this? What about that? And sometimes they have like crazy low prices. Sometimes an old person just don't want them, and it's pretty clean. I mean, I know people that have found some crazy cars just by an old owner that is just like, I don't feel it anymore. And I'm always looking. I'm always like on the market for like where I can find a good deal out there.
Yeah, and that's crazy you say that too, cause well, my tata, he was my dad's dad. He collected hot rods. So during that time, and that was just the biggest thing in Arizona is where he grew up. So when my pops was a kid, that's all he would see. You know, same thing with you. You know, just seeing your pops put new trim on the car or being able to hook them up. Sometimes you sell them and you get new ones, right? And then it just gets passed on, and then it just gets passed on. So
Did your dad has is 59 the first El Camino?
it is.
That's the one that your grandpa used to own.
Yes.
That car is sick. And I have the old Impala look,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
with the different front. I'm like, I was looking and I was like, I don't think I'm ready for something that classic yet. I think I gotta stay on the 80s, 90s for now.
And then
But
when
like,
the time comes, for sure.
when the time comes, I go a little like that's another layer to like on taste, on being able to like in a way like pull it off. Like maybe you need a few more years to kind of like look appropriate in those, and that's how I think, and that's why I think the 69 El Camino is the one right now for me.
Yeah, and that's the one you have your mind on, bro. You know,
Yeah.
so I think you'll get it. You know, it's in your mind. It's something you're manifesting,
Yeah.
and it's something it's there. You know.
And they are there. Even Monte Carlos are sick.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a never ending, like almost like options that you got out there. It's just like there's just so many flavor out there. You can like just go and sit down and be like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's also cool. But this one is also cool.
Like it's crazy too, cause my sister, she likes this one car from Fast and Furious. I think they were like in Tokyo or something, and it's like this one girl with, and she has like a pink. I'm not sure what car it is.
It's a Honda S2000.
That's a sick one. The purple one.
Yeah.
That's a sick car. Fast and Furious is also one of the reasons I like cars.
Yeah.
Like some of those Mitsubishis, you're like, Japan have crazy, also good taste for cars. The Supras is like, and that's like another, like you go from the low rider culture to like that like Asian culture of like fast cars, and you go like, those are dope.
Yeah.
I mean, those are dope too.
Yeah, and you just see a wide range of things, man. But something about like just lowriders and just G bodies and just that era was just a good time. It was just like flourishing in that world, you know, like people were just driving regular 57s and 59s, just stock like that.
That was just normal.
That was normal. The businessman had it, you know, but it was just fly, you know, and you would just see that in the street. So I can only wonder. So just picking my grandpa's brain and just like, hey, what was it like when you had this Corvette or that car, you know, even if it wasn't like in the best condition, it was still that model.
It was that car.
It was still that car. But now we just kind of like, now we'll see certain things and we'll be like, oh no, it's probably not, you know, there's probably gonna be something later. And then time comes and you're like, damn, I should have, you know, that's a badass car right there. That's a badass model, you know.
And everything started also with my dad's father. Before he passed, he was like, buy and sell. That was his actual made to work money. He would buy a car for an example, 500, fix it a little bit, sell it for 1,000. Every week he will do that. Boom, boom, boom. So like I grew up like pretty much being on a different car every week, and I was like, this is so cool. And I'm not even thinking about like classics. It was like the Toyotas or the Mitsubishi with a wood bed to put cows or whatever. And I would think like, this is so cool. Like every weekend we go to church or to eat on a different work car, and I was just like, I was I was in Disney. I mean, and those little things now make me appreciate so much the cars I collect, because I was just like, my grandpa would come home with like a semi truck, just going. It's like, you guys wanna go for a ride, and we all get in the wood bed, and those are like you cannot reach the top, right? Because they're like 8 foot tall. They're legitimate to put like big animals, but then they will have like a little box on top of the hood, not on top of the hood, on top of the roof of the car, and it's pretty much a small box, like a seat, and we as a kid we all sit on top of that and just go around town on that thing, eating ice cream and shit like that.
Yeah.
So like that's why for me, all the cars, they just mean something good, because it's just all the good memories I had growing up on a different car, on a different work car. Sometimes it would come kind of like with a classic back then, and I was just like, whoa, from a semi truck or a big truck with a wood bed to like a 2-door car. Like it was so cool growing up, like just having a lot of options. But
sure.
they were I didn't know they were for sale. I was like, dude, I love that car. It's like, well, you eating because of that car got sell.
For sure. And I think that's, I could see as a kid you had a lot of dreams and you had a lot of manifestation, and I'm sure family had a big impact on that, for sure.
It was just like, I mean, knowing you guys is pretty much the same. It was like just Thai family, having a good time all the time, and getting to enjoy these little things that will reflect in later life. Like I didn't know back then how much that was reflecting, but it did a lot. Like going to the Rooster fights every week and then just betting with people, be like, hey, I go red tape,
That's dope.
you take blue tape, and that was normal. I didn't know anything else. Every Sunday you go to church, get off church, then grandpa goes like, let's go, and then you go pretty much play like betting with other people. You're like, hey, $20 on red tape, go. And he used to have like 40 of Rooster fighters at home, and like just small cage next to each other. And he used to take one, like he would take his whole day, 30 minutes, let him walk. He would sit down, watch this guy walk. But then with the fighting Rooster, if you put two in the same place, they will fight. They don't know how to walk next to each other. You open the door, they're fighting.
Really?
Like they cannot just walk next to each other. Like if you, and I was an asshole, I would put like two in one cage and they would like beat the shit of each other. My grandpa used to beat me up so bad for that, because that was another income of the family. Just getting the best ones, won the bets and bring some cash on Sundays, and that was another part of me. Like that's why I have the big Rooster in my
Yeah,
bag.
that's so dope.
Like
So dope.
when we planned my tattoo, I was like, I want a huge Rooster, and then I told Toons, do whatever you want after, like around that. We don't even really knew what. I was just like, do your thing. You have the full artist card with me. I don't tell you yes or no. There's no opinion. Just flow. My back piece is sick.
I love it, bro. I love
It's
it.
sick.
Just
I
seeing
mean,
it, like, it's so sick, dog.
It's a sick piece. I think we're gonna add on the ribs at some point.
Yeah.
I want kind of like an heaven and hell.
Yeah.
This like a dispute, like each side, and then I will like, do your thing.
Yeah.
You flow. And then if you have a better idea, I say nothing but yes.
For sure. And I think just flowing.
That's the best way to get art or to do art.
For sure. And I'm starting to learn that too, because sometimes I gotta tell myself, man, just flow. Don't be stuck on a certain. Don't marry an idea.
You can't.
You can't. Yeah, it's good too sometimes, but sometimes you just gotta like, it'll broaden after that. But you just gotta flow, like how the paint is in my airbrush, and just kind of keep going. And just,
It's like watering a plant.
Yeah.
It won't overnight bloom.
Yeah.
But if you just put the right amount of water, the right amount of light, it will bloom beautiful.
Yeah, small chips.
Small chips every day, brother.
Small chips every day.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you so
It was
much
great
for having
talking to
me.
you.
So great. Thank you.
Appreciate you,
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Lefty, real quick, where can people find you? What's your Instagram? And all
Yeah,
that
you can find me at Mr.Lefty on Instagram. And hit me up for a 101 piece.
He makes great pieces, guys.
Thank you.